With us in studio here, Dan Perry, international affairs analyst and the former chairman of the Foreign Press Association in Jerusalem. So we're seeing here the Ukrainian conflict now entering its third month. People asking when will it end? It's obviously up to Vladimir Putin. Is there a chance that maybe if he gets some sort of result on Victory Day, the 9th of May, that he might call it quits, or?
There obviously is a chance.
Depending on the results also in the field.
Sure, but we're looking at a situation here in which everything depends on one man. Putin decided to start the war. Sure, the Duma pressed him with, little demands, but that's basically theater in Russia. Putin decided to start the war, and Putin will decide when the war ends, unless he's otherwise compelled somehow, overthrown or something. So will it be enough for Russia to be able to present some gains? Perhaps a little theft of Donbass or a land bridge going through Mariupol to Crimea? Perhaps. There's no question that the Russian economy is being devastated by sanctions. Despite the fact that criticizing the war is illegal in Russia right now will get you sent to Siberia for 15 years, I think there is an increasing sense of people being not so happy with what is going on as the truth slowly comes out, despite their control over media and even social media. So yeah. To answer your question, it's possible. There are two narratives here. One is that Putin wants to seriously reorder the Western European Security Alliance and to challenge the liberal democratic way of life and to be a bigger figure on a world stage, and to perhaps be willing to even use nuclear weapons to achieve those goals. But on the other hand, there's another narrative that says that he is waving that saber in order to have the West feel lucky when all they have to give up is a Donbass region, which, by the way, would not be ridiculous, because the borders of today's Ukraine are based on the old Soviet borders that were purposely engineered to make trouble within these countries. So just like a part of Ukraine was appended to Moldova to make it less Romanian, so Russian regions were appended to the Ukrainian SSR to make it less Ukrainian. And Ukraine is a country already twice the size of Germany, practically. If I was Zelensky, I think I'd be happier without some of these rest of Russian regions where support for, at the very least, autonomy, but quite possibly even transfer to Russia is not small.
Right. Of course, there is a concern that that is rewarding the Russian aggression, and they could operate again, start another campaign another time. But I want to ask you about something else.
It would be, by the way, rewarding Russian aggression. But we live in an imperfect world.
Right. Certainly, U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken and Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin were expected in Kyiv. Perhaps they're there now. We don't know. Zelensky said he's meeting them. The U.S. haven't commented on that. What do you make of that? I mean, surely there is an issue here of visibility. We've seen Boris Johnson, the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. He was there. The Austrian Chancellor was there. Why are the U.S. hiding here?
Well, Boris Johnson might not have realized he was doing it out in the open. I just don't know about Boris Johnson. But the American modus vivendi in a war zone, and that was this way in Iraq, and it was this way in Afghanistan, and it clearly is this way in Kiev, is to not make this public for security reasons. It doesn't look so swashbuckling. Looks a little meek, in fact, but I certainly understand why, and the last thing anyone needs is Blinken and Austin being caught up in a Russian attack.
And Zelensky, he's been asking for aid, both financially and weapons that he needs in order to keep up the fight against Russia. Surely that's coming up, but is he getting some of those really necessary aid packages that he needs in order to sustain the battle?
The U.S. claims it's given him, $3.4 billion worth of aid. But, the talk is of spare parts for airplanes and artillery and drones. He's not getting planes as he wants. And the U.S. could authorize MiGs that are currently sitting in Poland being sent to him, and that's not happening. He's not getting his no-fly zone, obviously. He's getting visits from Austin and Blinken. So this is all part of a delicate balance where the U.S. and the West wants to be seen as helping Ukraine, wants to help Ukraine, but not to do it so extremely that the Russians can credibly claim the U.S. is now involved.